Notorious for why they so inspired. I show them what to do and how to do it right. These 5-star raps over smooth beats. Influence you to eat. Mission complete.
Welcome to the Rise with Purpose podcast. I'm your host, Kendrick Anderson. I'm joined by my co-host, Allison McCants. Today we have two incredible women, Linda and Tammey, who bravely battled cancer. We want to welcome them as they share their journey today. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you for having us.
All right. So, Miss Linda, you grew up in Sumter, South Carolina.
That's right.
You attended Allen University, and there you studied business administration. Could you tell us, growing up in Sumter, how was it?
It was wonderful. I'm the second oldest of four, and I grew up in a large family surrounded by lots of cousins. So we just had a really, really close bond. And when it came time for me to leave to go off to college, it was a major transition for me from leaving, being in a secure environment to go out there in the world and meet new people. So it was an adjustment, but I really enjoyed my time at Allen University.
Awesome. So, Tammey, you grew up in Hopkins, South Carolina.
The big H.
Okay. And you attended Morris College.
Correct. Hopkins native, attended Lower Richland first. I got to give my diamonds the support.
Them diamonds.
From graduating Lower Richland High School, I did attend Morris College. From Morris, went active duty, then came back and went to University of South Carolina where I got my master's. Growing up in Hopkins was a challenge. I'm the youngest of three, all girls. Parents had all girls, so I say it was challenge time. A bunch of cousins to explore. I joined the military at the age of 17 while I was still in high school. That's when they gave us the option to do split service. You do your basic training your summer year, and then after graduating, you're able to go and do your AIT. So that's how I got my military career while still in high school.
Okay. Thank you for your service.
Thank you for your support.
Oh, yeah. So, Linda, after attending Allen University, what was next for you?
Yeah. When I graduated Allen with Bachelor in Business Administration, and from there I went to, at that time it was called Palmetto Health. It was actually Richland Memorial Hospital, and then it became Palmetto Health. I went into the accounting field, and I had several jobs throughout the accounting field to get to the point where I'm now a GL accountant with Prisma Health after 38 years.
Wow.
Yes.
Awesome.
And it's been fun. It has its moments, but most of it has been very enjoyable working with Prisma Health.
Awesome. All right, so let's get into your journey. And I'll let you start with that.
Okay. Well, my journey began with me doing my monthly breast exams, and I noticed something that was a little abnormal. I felt too small. They were like knots and whatnot. So when I went to see my doctor for my annual, I brought it to her attention. And a lot of women are told, and a lot of women have what they call dense breasts, which means they can be kind of lumpy at times and stuff like that. So I'm so fortunate that I had a doctor who really listened to me, and I shared with her my concerns. So what we decided to do was just watch it for a year until I would go back for my next exam, and if anything changed, then we would take it from there. Well, things did change.
What year was that when you?
That was in 2008. It was when I went back in May of 2009. That's when I brought it to her attention that there was a change, that they had gotten a little larger. So from there, she ordered a diagnostic mammogram with a possible biopsy. But let me back up. The mammograms were not picking it up. They did not notice, it did not pick up the lumps initially. So because of that, she went the route of ordering the diagnostic mammogram with the possible biopsy. So sure enough, when I went in to meet with the radiologist, he discovered it. I told him where I felt them. So when he started the exam, he said they're exactly where you say they were. And they were right side by side, but in the process, he also found another one that was in the upper part of my lymph node. So from there, we took it from there, and I went to see a surgeon about having the procedure done to have a mastectomy done. I chose that route versus having a lumpectomy because, to me, if my tissues were already impacted or affected by the cancer, I just wanted it to be removed. I didn't want the possibility of it, a reoccurrence in that breast and whatnot. So that's why I chose the route in which I did. I'm so grateful that all of my doctors listened to me and all my concerns that I had regarding my health. So that's how my journey went about.
Okay. And did it run in your family?
No, have no history. Not on my mom's side, no. I didn't have any history.
Okay. Yeah. And when you found out, like, what was it like when you first found out, and like how did it impact your life and your family life?
Well, actually, I didn't get upset. I didn't cry or anything. I was very calm about it because I just felt like my hand was directed to where it needed to be to discover the lumps and whatnot, and that I just had that reassurance that everything was going to be okay. So I went about scheduling a weekend to meet with all the people that I need to discuss what was happening with me, what my plans were, and how I needed them to be my village during this journey. So I scheduled one with my girlfriends, my family, and then this group that I was working with. So I was upbeat and positive about everything, and when I met with my girlfriends, and it gave them the opportunity to meet each other because not all my girlfriends knew each other. So I looked around the table and I was just in awe at how everyone was smiling and just having a good time, and then I was like, okay, now I got to drop this bomb on them. So I had everyone's name and phone number written on index cards. And I started passing them out around the table and let them know that each one's name and number was on there, and it was for a purpose. I said, because now I need my support team in place. And then I told them about what my diagnosis was and what my path was going to be in getting things taken care of. And I needed for them to exchange numbers and call each other and set up a care plan for me. As to who's going to be here, there, and the other, because my family was in Sumter, so I had to depend on my village that was here in Columbia. And I'm blessed because they had no problems doing whatever needed to be done. I mean, they were like clockwork, coming to the house and taking care of things for me and with me.
Well, that's awesome. Well, we're glad you're here today.
Yes.
That's a blessing. That's a blessing. And Tammey, you had a different journey, but you also was battle tested, and you came through. You came out on top. So let's just tell a little bit about your story.
Well, my story began in 2016. I started noticing my body started changing, meaning in my breast size. I was top heavy, young lady, active, was just coming off of a stressful divorce. And when they say stress brings on a lot, stress brings on a whole lot of changes. With that, I thought it just was the stress that I was going through from the divorce. At the time, I had two. It was just me and my boys. Both of them were young. Going through that after being married, 16 years, and then going through a divorce with two small kids. So I just thought my body was changing due to the stress. But I did start telling my doctor about what I start seeing. And the first thing they did, order a mammogram. The mammogram was ordered, but my physicians wasn't paying attention to actually what I was saying. Then I had another mammogram, and according to the records, the mammogram did show, like Linda said, I had dense breasts also. And the mammogram stated that they wanted me to have a 3D mammogram to show behind the dense breast. But of course, if you don't have doctors or your care team looking at your notes, you could just get shuffled. And back then, they wasn't ordering 3D mammogram like that because a lot of insurance wasn't covering 3D mammogram. So from 2016 to 2017, I kept complaining about different things I was noticing with my body. The last mammogram and test I had was January of 2018. At that time, of course, again, no one being proactive with the information they was receiving. So in September, I was on a work conference. I was in Atlanta, and I never forget. I was sitting there. 7:00 news came on, say, do your buddy check, and I was like, okay, let me just check. That Wednesday, I sat and I checked, and I found and noticed a lump. It was in my right breast. Of course, I'm on a work vacation. Well, it was a work vacation trip, conference, like we do. That I came home that Sunday. Immediately Monday morning, I called my doctor, and the only one could actually see me then was my OB/GYN doctor. He got me in, and from Monday, he said he didn't like how it felt. So that Wednesday, of course, that's when you do I finally got the 3D, had to do the biopsy. Thursday around 11:45, I got the call and said, yes, I am. I have HER2 positive breast cancer. It was rapidly spreading. It had no spread outside of the original site, and it was in lymph nodes in both of my arms, and we had to move quickly. It started out as stage 3B. No one in my family. After doing what we call the genetic gene testing, it found out it was more environmental than hereditary. So from 2018, I am still currently a Medivivor. That's why I have on the shirt, Medivivor. In 2019, I started going to Atlanta at the Cancer Treatment Center of America. Going down there, they redid all my tests to make sure nothing was missing and I was on the right treatment plan. Of course, during the treatment here, I was having a lot of side effects. Every time I did a treatment, the next day I would end up in the hospital for a couple of days. My body was not accepting the tamoxifen and what we call the caviar of the hard chemo treatment. And I got tired. So that's why I went out of the state and I started going to Cancer Treatment Center of America. February of 2019, I got the diagnosis from stage 3 to stage 4. They missed the spot, and it's a small spot that was in the lungs. So from there, I have been on this journey. I still go to Cancer Treatment Centers of America. I went from every 3 weeks I would go. I had to do 3 weeks there, and then every Monday through Friday I was doing radiation. So I would do radiation, miss a day, go do treatment, come back and do radiation. Did radiation for 4.5 months. Where I'm at now, I'm still here. I'm still fighting. Just because of the stage 4, that don't mean it's the end of life. You just have a different journey. And my tumor markers are still there, but they're not high to where the doctors are making me go more frequently than I was. Currently doing stem cells. I haven't had a stem cell but once this year. I still do the radiation shots to keep everything at bay. The stem cells are basically where they take my blood out, filter it through whatever cancer agents out there, and put it back in, and that's what helps keep my tumor markers down.
I did want to ask, I actually went to get an annual checkup this year, and my doctor, she told me I had dense breast tissue, so I had to get a mammogram. Got my first one this year, and everything was clear. But what, I guess, made you guys be proactive about doing your self-exams? Because it's not something I think about or thought about doing. So I know, Miss Linda, you sounded like you were very on top of it, doing your self-checks. Like, what drove you to, was it working at the hospital? And like, what caused you to do that? Because I think a lot of women don't do their self-checks.
Well, with me, because my doctor always suggested, once I started going to OBGYN, I just faithfully did it and whatnot. And I'm glad that I did. You know, I agree with you. A lot of women do not. But when I do meet women and I tell them about my story, and I tell them you have to be an advocate for your own health. It's something simple, but it can be something that can save your life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
For me, it was, like I said, never thought that cancer would visit me, never. You know, when it comes across the television on Wednesdays and it say buddy check, like I said, I just was sitting there. I know something was going on with my body, seeing the changes. And with me, it was more so, I had a dream. And the dream I kept having was something I was getting ready to face. But whatever it was I was getting ready to face, I was going to come out. But what you're getting ready to go through, it wasn't for you. And people look at me like I'm crazy. Like, it was deja vu. It was like I was dreaming it, didn't know what it was, never thought it was cancer. But that Wednesday when it came across on the 6 o'clock news, and then when I got the news that Thursday when the doctor called, it was like, okay. You know, so I guess each one of us have to be our own advocate, but not just for women. Males are on the rise with breast cancer too. So the same way we're doing our checks, we need to encourage those males in our lives, our young cousins, our male role model, to do their checks also, because cancer, like HER2 positive, is a hormonal cancer. Mm-hmm. Males have hormones too. It's called estrogen. So it just depends on you knowing your body.
Yeah. I know you both talked about your support systems. Have you seen a change in how they advocate for themselves because of your stories?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes, really have.
That's good.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, even with my job, talking to women at my job, they started changing some of their habits. And I've also been there for some that have been diagnosed. And it just amazed me how they started flocking to me.
Yeah.
So it lets me know that I did have an influence, and I'm glad that I was placed there for that purpose.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
And both of you guys mentioned that year of getting diagnosed, the year earlier you both had a mammogram, but nothing showed up. Mm-hmm. How common is that for the initial visit?
It happens more frequent than it really happens frequent.
So if you know that someone in your family have had cancer, some insurance are now letting family members of close relatives do what they call genetic gene testing. Genetic gene testing will show most of the genetic things that are tied to your genes, cancer, now they're saying Alzheimer's, different long-term illness, it will show. But if you don't have the insurance to do it, that's when you're just going to have to be your advocate and go to your doctor and say, hey, can you at least they do have a blood test that they do. So it's so many things out there now that if your insurance don't cover it, your doctor can go around the way and order different tests to see if anything is showing. Just like when you go and they do the blood test to make sure you're not having a stroke. It's the same, similar tests, not the same, similar tests that can be done to see, okay, where your your cancer markers are.
And I think that's, of course, very important to make sure you understand like what you could be up against physically, but like from the emotional side, can you talk about when you got diagnosed, even as you're going through your treatment, what was there anything that you grieved during that process emotionally? And I know as women especially, it could be difficult because when you talk about having a mastectomy, like that's challenging, especially as a woman. Like, was that something that was difficult for you? And were there any other things that you found to be hard?
It was not a hard decision for me.
Okay.
I remember telling the doctor when he told me when the biopsy came back, I said, okay, what do we need to do to get this taken care of? Because I have things to do, people to take care of, and I need to be me.
Yeah.
They said, well, there's no rush. We could do this and we can do that. I said, I understand and I respect your professional opinion, but this is what I need to have done for me, because I have to have that peace of mind because I have things I need to take care of. And I felt like I was led to my discovery as early as I did for a purpose. There was work out there for me to get done. So it wasn't a hard decision at all for me.
That's awesome.
Well, with me, it was hard. Sometimes it's still hard, being a double mastectomy. Challenges that I have faced with that, the radiation damaged the lining in my heart. So after I had my double mastectomy, I coded. I coded twice. Then now I have a defibrillator because the lining of my heart got weakened because of the radiation. So physically, emotionally, it takes a toll, but that's when you got to know where your strength come from. Yes, I am a woman. Yes, I look in the mirror and I see everything, but I also see the flaws, the scars, the bruising, the burning that the radiation have left behind. So it's a roller coaster ride for some. I know Linda is full of spunk, and she has that spirit. But on the human side, you just have to have many days, many nights to where you got to call on your higher being because it's tough.
Yeah. I could imagine that would be a difficult decision and working through it.
Yeah, but on the flip side of things, God put somebody here to make any side boobs you want.
Amen, sister.
When you get too hot, you just take them off, or you don't put them on at all. Any sizes.
Well, that's awesome. So I guess my question is, you just mentioned you have to pull on your higher being. What did that look like in your lowest points? I guess the question is, if you could give someone advice who's going through this, like right now, what did you do to pull through when you were at your lowest moment? Because I know it can be times where you're angry, and how do you work through it?
So, my team, I told them two things. When you see me at my lowest, I need you to pray. I need you to pray hard. This is something that some people do alone, but you need somebody to go through this with you. This is a journey that, yes, you can get through it by yourself, but mentally, you need somebody else praying with you. You just got to have that support team in place, because you can see when I'm weary and when I'm ready to give up, and you have to have that one or two that say, I got you, I can carry you. No, you need to eat. You got to have that mama, that sister, that cousin, that auntie, all wrapped up in one.
That village.
That village. And you also got to keep a song in your heart. Keep a song to where you know that song will pull you out through the lyrics. And it was one, Strengthen Me, Jesus, by the Gospel Legends. They're from Colombia. I played that song till I think I can't play it anymore. You just have to have things to remind you what you're going through. You can come through it, but you got to put in, you got to put the deuces up.
Yeah, yeah.
So, 2018, that's when Faith Strong was founded. Could you guys tell us about that?
Faith Strong started with 4 women every Thursday meeting at different restaurants. It was this powerful, dynamic, 5'4" chick with bling on, being that advocator, being that engine that just didn't stop going. And we had 2 engines. And I think I was just a little, I think I cared behind those 2. Faith Strong got started, like I said, with us eating. We all met because somebody else knew what we were going through. Faith Strong got started. It was Tanya, Tamika, Tammey, and Kim. And the bond that we had, we started doing things. All of us had families, and all of us was going through the same battle, but we were each other's support group. Tanya had her own foundation. Tamika wanted to start a foundation. So how it went, Tamika and Tanya was the founders, and I was the co-founder, and Kim at the time didn't want to broadcast her story and her journey, but she is still with us. So we moved forward. Tamika being the main founder of Faith Strong. Faith Strong came about because Tamika was a minister under the cloth, and we always started out with prayer. And that's where the faith came in at. And the strong came in because through strength, we could get through it. So that's how Faith Strong got started. And then in 2019, that's when all 3 of us just start going through a roller coaster ride. We all transitioned from South Carolina and start going to, 4 of us start going to Cancer Treatment Center of America. So Tamika and Tanya will be down the same time, and they'll be there. When they were coming back, I was going down, me and Kim. So we had each other back in traveling, and we always had someone down there to look out for each other, even though we had our care team with us. That's how Faith Strong got started, and Tamika saw the vision that she wanted to take it a little step further. And with that, we did our first walk at Patriot Parkway, and it turned out good. It was cold, because I'm like, why are we walking in the cold? It was cold, and we had over 150 people to show up. And from there, it just kept growing. The need kept growing. And then with any organization, you grow, you lose some. You grow, you lose some. And with that, she saw the community needing more than what they were getting. And that's when we just started stepping up and being advocates, teaching other young ladies that the youngest was 22. Jasmine was the youngest. We started helping her to advocate for herself. And then we had the oldest, she was 92. So we had a variety of women that we were teaching them how to advocate for themselves, what questions to ask the doctor. If you need us to go with you, we were going to appointments. We were sitting in on treatment. Even though me, Tamika, and Tanya was still actively in treatment, we were being there for everyone else while they were going through, because we already know our story. But it's something about feeding on women similar to you, all different walks of life, and you're getting strength from each other.
Cause you didn't know Linda prior to.
I did not.
Until 2022.
Yeah, 2022.
Okay. All right. So the book, High Heels and Low Places, how did that come about?
Tamika, our founder Tamika, she had this desire, a big idea that she wanted women to be able to share their stories and put it in a book so others can read and just be a tool to help them through whatever they're going through, to let them know that they're not alone. Other women have gone through this, and they want to tell you their story and how they went about it, the ups, the downs, everything. So it was her idea to get this book going.
Okay. And how important, sometimes I used to see you had the cancer vans come around and stuff like that. How important to have things like that, and also does it help having them? Because I heard that you have to meet certain requirements, and with this being something this serious, you would think that anyone is able to come and get checked out. But what could you tell me about that? What you guys think about that?
That's a mammogram.
Yeah, the mammogram van, they as in whoever is putting it on, you got to have funds to put it on, and they have to accept, your insurance have to approve the mammogram van. Is just like anything else. They are allocated so many funds and individuals to get mammogram checks. So it's almost like a demographic. How much how much is in that area to go towards the mammogram. And then that's how they allocate how many free mammograms they can do, vice versa, how many they can do with funds or insurance claim. So it's like 50-50. That's one thing that we always know. Nothing in this world is free.
Yeah.
The funds have to come from somewhere.
Yeah. Wow. So what's next for you guys? Do you have anything coming up that you're working on?
Well, we have a couple of things coming up. Next year, we do still put on the event. The new name?
Let's Get Jazzy and Pink.
Let's Get Jazzy and
That
Pink.
is a fundraiser.
Okay.
That was the ideal of one of our former members, Jermaine. And she wanted to have an event to where the funds could be used to go towards a retreat for the ladies that are in Faith Strong. And last year was our first year having it without her. She passed away. But it was an awesome event. She would have loved it. She really would have loved it. And from the funds from that event, we were able to go to Somerville this year for our fall retreat. And we had a total of 15 women that went. And we had a blast. We had a photo shoot. We had an evening of crafting. And that was interesting.
Yes.
One of the young ladies had this idea of decorating clay pots to make it however you want it, whatever design you want. And the women had a blast. It was really enjoyable. That evening, that Saturday evening, we went to a fundraiser called Cocktails and Mocktails. And that was hosted by one of our breasties that drives monthly to come to Sumter to be a part of Face Strong. Well, it was so beautiful. It really was. Excuse me. As a matter of fact, the lantern up there was given to us by her as a token of her love and her appreciation for our founder. And we also ran into another cancer group that was there that evening too. So it's like a lot of clicking and everything, but the women had a wonderful time at the retreat. Our major fundraiser is Pink in the City, and that's held the first weekend in October. This year, the city of Sumter proclaimed the first October in every month will be Pink in the City Day.
Awesome.
And that was something that Tamika was advocating hard for, and it came true. And it was just so beautiful. It was excitement, and it was filled with tears of happiness and tears of, sadness as well, because she wasn't able to be there with us because she earned her wings on August the 29th. So, but she was pleased. We felt her presence there, so she was pleased with how things worked out for that.
Yeah. What would you say to anyone who have been diagnosed today? What advice would you give them?
Lean on your higher being first, whoever your higher being is. Get a personal relationship with them. Then build your support group. Your support group can't be that friend that only shows up when it's time to go out. Going through a diagnosis like this, it's going to be people in your life who's going to leave you because everybody cannot handle what you're going through. And you need to have that group around you that can see you at your lowest, but be there to build you back up when you're there. But believe and trust, just because you got the diagnosis of cancer, believe that's not the end of the world. Exactly. It's not. Medicines change daily. Having cancer is just like having high blood pressure, diabetes, gout. Anything that you go through, you have to get checked. You got to be your advocate. Know what you're dealing with. Know the terminologies, know what to ask your doctor, but have those individuals there that will have your back. Because one thing I found out, everybody can't go where you go.
Amen.
That's true.
And we do. Very soon we'll be on the lookout, Faith in the Storm, a documentary that will hopefully be released soon. That's what we're working on, 3 ladies that are metavivors telling their stories.
Thank you both for joining us and sharing your stories. This was great. High heels and low places. I love the title. Yeah, thank you.
And again, I want to thank you guys for sharing your story. I'm pretty sure it's going to inspire a lot of people. And we can do this again once the documentary come out.
Yes.
Awesome.
All right.
But can I just add one thing?
Yes.
If you're listening to it and you're sharing it with others, just know that because we look the way we're looking, we look beautiful, we keep our personality up, we keep our looks up, but at the end of the day, the diagnosis is still there. So the saying is, you don't look like what you're going through. Cancer doesn't have a look to it. It just have a title that you don't have to answer to. So if you know someone out there that's going through, we have our website that is on the shirt. We have QR codes. But if you do not want to give to the organization and you have family members, drop off gift cards, gas cards, something to make their day a little better, knowing that they have extra funds to get where they need to get food, and medicine. On an average, when I go to Atlanta and I get my bill, on an average, $2,500 plus. So everybody is not favored to have everything free. So just be that one person to give back or do something for someone else that's going through.
Well, again, we want to thank y'all for sharing your story. If you'd like to learn more about Faith Strong, visit the website here shown on the screen. Also, if you want to make a donation, just simply scan the QR code. Thanks. All right. Thank you for tuning in to the Rise with Purpose podcast. Until next time, be blessed.
Yeah.